Hello, my name is Athena. I am a stand-up comedian, writer, and a new mum. Being a mum is great, but I do crave adult company every now and again. So I invite an adult every couple of weeks to come into my mum's kitchen and have a chat with me. And today, there's a lovely adult sitting opposite me, smiling, giggling because he's got a plate of plantain in front of him. He's giggling because it's the first time he's eaten plantain. Can I introduce to you my guest, Nathan Foad?
Foad, nice.
Foad, not Foad.
Yeah, I get Foad a lot. You nailed that.
Yeah,
that was really good.
But I did Foad. Is that more correct than Foad?
No, it's just Foad.
Just Foad.
It's just Foad. I like Toad with an F.
That Toad with an F.
I got Nathan Toad a lot at school. And also Nathan Food.
That's a good name. Because I'd be like, well, you got to give me food then.
Well, I was also just an overweight child, so...
Kids are very unoriginal. Kids are so hack.
Yeah, it's so true.
They're so hack. Nathan Foad, welcome to my kitchen.
Thank you so much.
Let's get this out of the way. You're staring at my plantain. You're dying to eat it.
I'm so
just
excited.
Get your fork in.
I've never, ever had plantain. I've heard so much about it.
He's putting it in his mouth. He's chewing it.
Oh my God, that's so delicious.
It's the bread. It's delicious. Get stuck in.
That is genuinely so delicious.
Take what has happened with you today back to your hometown. Take it. Spread the word. I'm all about. Just spread the love. You know.
Oh my God.
What you need to do? Go down your corner shop. 3 for £1. Pile up the suitcase.
It's so not what I expected.
What did you expect?
I think I expected it to be less sweet. It's so good. I thought it was going to be more savoury. Is it a vegetable or a fruit?
It's a fruit.
Right.
So if you go to the Caribbean or anywhere where they grow bananas, you'll see a plantain tree is identical to a banana tree. So it's a fruit, but it's basically a very starchy banana. And it's sweet because it's been ripened.
Right, okay.
So if you was to buy a green plantain, it would be quite starchy. But they're really nice with curries and things like that. I mean, I could talk about plantain for the whole of this podcast.
No, that's great. Let's do that. That's gorgeous.
Is this the most exotic thing you've eaten today?
I mean, definitely today, because the only other thing I've eaten today is eggs on toast. So, no, this is so good.
What's the most exotic thing you have eaten?
Oh God, I'm going to just reveal how sort of deeply white I am. Ostrich.
Oh, that's very exotic. Yeah.
Is it?
That? I've never had. I don't eat meat anymore. But when I ate meat, I don't think I ever really pushed the boat out, and I regret that a little bit because my opportunity's gone. What did ostrich taste like?
It was actually really delicious. I ate it So my grandparents are South African, so I ate.
Oh, I didn't know this. The good kind and the bad kind.
Oh,
the kind the kind that escaped.
No, deeply the bad kind.
They're still there, holding on to their land with their shotgun.
I know. Oh, I know. With their maids' quarters, it's just the worst. I don't like going there. But I had ostrich once or twice. It's really good. It's kind of like steak but nicer, I guess.
Yeah, this is what I hear. And I hear ostriches are they deserve to be eaten or something. Or it's good to eat them.
They're little pricks. Yeah.
They're they'll headbutt you and stuff like that. Unlike cows, which are lovely, we shouldn't eat. Why don't we just eat the animals that eat us?
Yeah.
Or just are mean to us? That seems fairer.
That's a good point, actually. Let's eat more like lions.
It seems more like justice. It seems more like justice. Anyway, let's talk about stuff. I should say how I know you, because you're a writer and we've written together, which has been really fun.
Yeah, we did a few television writers' rooms. Thank you very much.
And I don't know many proper writers. I only know comedians who pretend to be writers, like myself.
Well, to be fair, likewise, I don't know many proper comedians really. So it's big to know. In my head, you're such a big deal.
I'm going to put that on my next Edinburgh post.
Yeah, be good.
I'm a big deal in Nathan's head. Oh, that's really nice. And what do you write?
So I'm a comedy writer. I do bits for TV. Mainly I do TV. I started off in theatre, but I work in comedy.
I want to talk about theatre. I think about comedy.
Oh, God.
You stopped working in theatre. That's the past. You've been in the past.
Yeah, so I trained as an actor. I went to drama school.
Yeah, I know about this.
Yeah.
No, don't apologise. Let's talk about that. Okay, so much to talk about. Okay, the part of the theatre. Let's talk about drama school.
Christ alive.
As a comedian, I get sent to auditions. And I get my arse spanked because I don't act. I'm not a trained actor, and I'm learning every time. So, and I have a real admiration for actors because I think it's real art and a real skill, and you can learn so much about the human condition. Yada yada yada. So you did that. You did exactly what I admire. You went to a good drama school, didn't you?
I went to a fine one.
Fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
Is that better than good? Like, to fine, like a fine wine.
I got script notes the other day, and someone said the new jokes are fine, and I He's devastated for like 3 days. I found that such an upsetting note to get.
Is it like fine art? Like,
well, eventually I found out it meant like fine as in like these are fine jokes.
the upper classes need to recognise when they're giving notes to some of us who like, you know, don't speak in this way.
Yeah, exactly, totally. But yeah, so I went to drama school when I was like 18. I was just like I just did a lot of like youth theatre when I was younger, just sort of desperate for attention. And then I have a really complex relationship with drama school, actually. I'm glad that I went, and I wouldn't have ended up in the situation that I am now. Like, it's great, and I learnt a lot, but it's a weird place, man.
What's weird about drama school? What did you find weird?
It's a really, like, crazy-making place. Like, you go and you kind of do genuinely... You know, people try and prep you for it. People are like, it's a lot, and you're going to go through a lot, and it's really tough. And I was like, how tough can it be? It's like a drama class for 3 years. And then I sort of turned up and you do... sort of lose your mind. You feel like you go from... I was such a disproportionately confident 18-year-old. And then I turned up to drama school and you are just... I don't know, the thing that you've done for so many years is like a fun thing, and it's garnered a lot of like praise. It's the thing that you're kind of like known for, and everyone's like, gosh, Nathan's so clever and confident and talented. Yeah. And then you go and you feel like you'll just sort of get like punched in the face for 3 years. So I kind of got there when I was 18, and quite quickly realised, I was like, oh God, everyone's taking this really seriously.
Is it a little bit like, I didn't have the same experience because I did a history degree, which just, the stakes are slightly lower. You know, you're not getting your personality and everything about you attacked. You're just reading books every now and again. When I went to university, I felt like I stopped being a big fish in a small pond, and I was like a newt in a sea. I just felt like incredibly lost, and there was nothing for me to latch onto. I will talk about drama school being high maintenance.
No, drama school was
being stressful.
That's the thing. It's much like, I mean, I'm sure you had the exact experience of like, you were at school and you were so clever at school, and everyone was like, Athena's so clever and brilliant. And then you go
to say that, but I was so popular at school. Everyone loved me. It was like, I walked down the corridors and people were like, Athena, Athena. It was, and then I went to university and everyone was like, who the fuck are you?
Mm-hmm. I know, that's the thing, I was so... Well, I guess I was a loser. I was such a, like, cartoonishly, like, awful, like, I just had a real bad time of it. But, and then I went, and like I say, drama was my kind of, like, thing that I had, and I was so good at it, and I got all the, like, main parts in my, like, youth drama. Yeah. And then you go to drama school, and you're like, it becomes more, formalised, and you're like, oh, this is a job that I need to learn how to do, and there are people there as well. I think when I got into drama school, it was such a big deal. I was on like the front fucking page of my like local newspaper.
Where's your local newspaper? Where are you from?
So I'm from a town called Newark-on-Trent, which is in like the East Midlands. It's in Nottinghamshire.
The lesser known of the Midlands.
Yeah.
The West Midlands gets all the press.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, who cares about Leicester?
No one gives a shit about Leicester Derby. No one cares. That and yeah, so it's such a it's kind of a non-place really. Like I'm always really jealous of people who come from like places, you know, like my best friend is from Manchester, and it's so like in her bones that she's from Manchester, and it's the same when people are from London, you know, it's so like in
you take it for granted because it can form part of your identity. And when you go abroad, you can be like, I'm from London. You're from London.
Yeah, people love it. One of my overriding memories of like being on holiday when I was younger was getting into cabs and cab drivers being like, whereabouts are you from? And my dad would always just say Robin Hood, like that was always his like go-to thing because it's Nottingham Forest, and everyone knows it. We're not even from Nottingham, but so it's kind of just like a nothingy town.
You're going to put it on the map. You already have.
Well, I'm trying my very best. I mean, it's an interesting town to come from. In a lot of ways, I feel really grateful because it gives you such a sense of like being a little weirdo and an outsider, and then. And I feel very grateful to live in London. I'm very like excited by London all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like I feel like I don't take for granted living in London.
And we do. Londoners take London for granted terribly. In one of the other episodes, I was like, oh, go to a gallery. It's really good fun. Like, we've got hundreds of them. Yeah. If you live somewhere you don't have access to that, or you've got to get a bus that comes like once a week to get on it, you can't benefit from these things. How did you go from being an elite drama school student
Thank you.
to the hugely successful comedy writer I see before me?
This is great. Thank you so much. This is such an ego fluffer.
Just a bit, you've written one of my favourite shows. I wasn't lying. So you emailed me and you said you wrote an episode of Young Offenders, and it's genuinely one of my favourite shows. Can I ask which episode you wrote?
So I've written an episode for the new season.
Oh my god, we're getting a new season! I'm so thrilled.
Yeah. So it's shooting at the moment. Basically, I got to drama school and I would look around me. My sort of overriding feeling of being at drama school, you know, people would be like, so obviously the globe is the goal, and I would be like,
The globe.
And I'd be like, yes, the globe is the goal. Like I was.
And not Hollywood.
I was such a fraud.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. Everyone was so serious, and rightly so. Drama school is a serious place to be, and acting is a serious profession if you do it properly. Whereas I was just such a goofy little moron.
Oh bless.
And I just wanted to do jokes and comedy, and so when I was at drama school, a colleague of mine, what's the word?
Peer,
fucking hell, colleague.
Well, it feels like work.
a peer of mine had started up her own theatre company. She's incredibly ambitious, and she started up a theatre company and was taking a play to Edinburgh, and all of the bits that I really liked at drama school were when we got to like write our own little monologues or whatever. So she obviously could see that I could write, and she said to me, you know, do you want to write a play with me? And I was like, yeah, why not? You know, you're so like open and to any experience. I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing. So we took this play to Edinburgh in like, when would it have been? 2012, 2013.
Okay.
And
you would have been really young. How young were you?
I would have, how old was I? 19 or 20 at the time. And it did really well, and we got some like traction off the back of it, and the play ended up like later on down the line, it like toured the UK.
What was the play called?
Oh God! Oh Jesus! Don't! No one Google it. But it was called "This Was the World and I Was King." So it was like
that's not. When you made that face, I was like, oh my god, it's something racist. It's like, oh my god.
Imagine if I was like, please.
It's something ironically. Okay, so what was the title again?
This Was the World and I Was King. So it was a play. It's so
It
far.
sounds
from
very drama school. Yeah, I have to say. Was it a one man?
No. It was this big ensemble. It's so far from my like brand now, but it was this like quite serious. It was like a World War I family drama. It was basically we just ripped off like the Railway Children and the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. It was just exactly that. It was about like a group of children, and you know how everyone's just so like got off. You know when you're in primary school and everyone just has like a boner for like evacuees. Everyone just loves them. Everyone just wants to talk about evacuees so much.
You've just said that, and I've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Because it made me think, God, World War II sounds like kind of fun,
yeah,
doesn't it?
oh my God.
You know, you get taken from your house and put in the countryside.
Oh my God, I thought it was the most exciting thing in the world.
Yeah.
I remember like dressing up for World Book Day in like long socks and like a tag, and thinking that said like my name on it, and thinking I just thought it was so glamorous and exciting. So we wrote this play about like a family of these children, and their dad's away at war, and they like play these games and make up these magical worlds, and it had puppets and things. Yeah. And then their dad comes back from the war, and he's not the same as he used to be, and you can't play with them like he used to play with them. And then all of a sudden,
quite dark. Have you heard of a book called Regeneration?
No.
It's basically a really dark book about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
About World War I.
We probably should have read it, to be fair. Like genuinely, it was the sort of thing where like the play was really like fluffy for sort of like the first half, and then you could just so see us being like. It just so suddenly took itself really seriously. Yeah, the dad comes home and all the kids are like, Daddy, we've missed you so much. I played one of the children as well. Hilarious. I'm 6'1", like, and the two girls that were like, they were tiny.
Did you have to shave during the interval?
I was constantly shaving. I remember my skin being so like mottled and horrible and I had so much Brill cream in my hair. It was disgusting. I actually met my boyfriend that year as well, so that was a real miracle. But it was like, Daddy, we've missed you so much. We can't wait to tell you about all the stories we've been making up while you've been away. And the dad's like, I can't hear these stories right now, children. Like, I can't play. Blah, blah, blah.
Is he Batman now?
Like he's been on like hormone therapy or something, but and then he like lashes out at the children and everything's really different, blah, blah, blah. So it was that kind of play.
That's very mature, I have to say. Even though it's mature in a drama school kind of way. So that's how you started, and then I guess that was a catalyst.
Yeah, and then we did a couple more Edinburghs after that. So I wrote quite a lot for that company. We did like a children's show, and we did like another like bad play. I shouldn't be saying all this, and then I left drama school with an acting agent, but I kind of knew it's not what I wanted to do. I had this. I don't mind saying now because she's retired. I won't say her name, but I had this absolutely awful acting agent. She's retired, but I used to have really crooked teeth, like really crooked teeth, and I got them fixed just after drama school, which was the stupidest thing in the world. But when she first met with me, I thought my teeth were going to be a real problem, and I remember her being like, darling, the teeth are so quirky. I love them. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. So I signed with her, and then I had another meeting with her, and it's like she hadn't met me. It was like she'd fully forgotten. And she was like, I'm going to be honest with you, darling, I don't know what we're going to do about these teeth. And I was like, sorry, Linda, remember that thing you said about my teeth?
I can't believe you got teeth shaved.
Oh my God, I got fully teeth shaved. And then I paid for, like, bless my lovely my working class parents who don't have a lot of money. We all managed to, like, cobble together enough money for me to get, like, adult braces.
Oh, I love that. Like a GoFundMe.
Genuinely, it really did take a village. Like a whip round. And I got braces and fixed my teeth, and then...
And now you're a writer.
And now I'm a writer. So
and you've got to pay that money back.
Yeah, it was all tax deductible at the time though, because I was like, it's for my career. But yeah, so it was ridiculous, and I dropped that agent. She was awful. I was signed with her for 1.5 years, and I got one audition for a Red Bull advert, which I actually really nailed. No, it was terrible. And then yeah, so I was writing the entire time, and then. Yeah. I got my writing agent. It was like a bit of mad luck, really. So
anyway, so now you're a writer, and now you write on my faavorite show.
Yes.
So I'm gonna touch you before you leave again, so I can say I've touched someone who writes on my favourite shows.
So yeah, it's really cool. Like I just started. I always knew I wanted to work in like TV comedy as opposed to theatre. I think theatre takes itself quite seriously. It's a general rule. Like no shade to any theatre writers listening, but I wanted to. I wanted to work in comedy, and it's so, I don't know, there's just more of a clear-cut thing. Like, if you want to work in TV comedy, it's like it's its own separate industry that you can just focus on.
And there's loads of access points into it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, especially for me as a stand-up, like, the opportunities I've had to be working radio and TV comedy, way more than people who've been to drama school for like, and I feel a bit guilty about that actually. Yeah. But it's more like, if you're funny, we'll support you.
Well, also drama school, I just don't think generally, and I'm talking specifically about my experience, but it doesn't necessarily engender being hugely funny. It doesn't really value comedy. It's like it all takes itself. I mean, and there are there's weird stuff at play there with like weird classism and stuff like that. It's just it's very serious. It's all geared towards, like, I totally lost my accent when I went to drama school, and I wish I still had. Do you know what I mean? I used to have like a proper like broad like working class Nottinghamshire accent.
I don't know what a Nottinghamshire accent is.
No one does. It's
can you give us a few bars?
Okay, I'll give you a few bars. So not like a Nottingham, like from where I'm from, like a Newark accent is very much. So the biggest vowel that I always notice, the biggest vowel shift, I thought about this a lot, is like out and about and round. So where I'm from, it's at and about and round.
Out and about and round.
Yeah, like I'm going round the roundabout. That sort of vibe.
That sounds quite Cockney.
Yes, there is a lot of similarities actually. Weirdly,
yeah.
It's a bizarre accent. It's really lazy. But I used to have like a proper accent. I hear old videos of myself, and I'm like, oh, listen to that little scrubber. Do you know what I mean? I was such a little like.
And they make you into like an RP generic thing. I think you're right. The theatre doesn't really respect. They respect comedy, but like Noel Coward.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like 1930s banjo comedy, and that's why in like the BAFTAs and stuff you get comedy entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's like Anthony Deck win it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. And you know, when you look at like the Golden Globes, like musical and comedy are kind of lumped together. It's like comedy can't even be its own sort of category. Do you know what I mean? So it was like when, I mean, was it Get Out that was like nominated for a bunch of like...
Yeah, and it's like, it's a funny film.
Yeah.
But it's really like not a straight up comedy. It's not Naked Gun.
Yeah, exactly. And it also just feels, and you know, no shade to any comedies at all, but it just felt such an insult to such an artful film for it to be like lumped into like musical comedy next to like Veep, or do you know what I mean?
I've always believed they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They're like, they just used to undermine it. Oh, Trump's in London.
Oh, Trump is in London.
How do we feel about Trump? You're not there supporting him, waving American flags.
Imagine if I was like, I'm actually a massive fan. No,
your South African grandparents would be horrified you with lack of support.
Yeah, exactly. They're probably obsessed with him. How do I mean, Trump being in London? Are we flying the balloon again? I was so confused by all
I
of that.
thought that balloon was a bit of a waste, to be honest, because there's nothing you can say to Trump he hasn't heard. He knows he's got small hands. He knows he's got orange skin. Like, we can body shame him as much as we like. We can policy shame him as we like. He sort of doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit, and everything, like you say, everything's been leveraged against him now. Like, another 100 people on Twitter calling him, like, Drump or whatever, do you know what I mean? And making fun of his tiny hands. He doesn't care. The man's, like, he's not worried about the size of his hands. He should be worried about the amount of blood that's on them,
right,
do you know what I mean?
And I totally agree. I think it's a beautiful day right now, and if you're wasting it protesting Trump, like, just go on a train, drink a mojito.
Yeah, do a Diane Abbott.
You're kind of better off doing that. The one thing I'm disappointed in is, like, I rely on politicians to say stuff and represent me. I rely on the Queen to just stick her finger up at him. And if they're not doing it, then I don't have time to it.
Everyone's sort of welcoming him with open hands. It feels very embarrassing, and I almost think there's a sense to which I always get very embarrassed at, like, the British reaction towards, like, Americans, because I feel it in and of myself, like, finding America very glamorous and exciting, and it feels like all of a sudden, the second that people are like, the President of the United States coming to little old London.
Respect the office!
Yeah,
you've got to respect the office. It's like, please, that office isn't meaningless now.
Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing.
And like you say, there's just nothing else that can be. I mean, Trump is hideous. He's disgusting.
It's like when Greece won the Euros back in the days. Sorry, my daughter's smiling now.
She's smiling and she looks absolutely gorgeous.
She's smiling because Athena's used the shit analogy again.
She's like your canary down the mine for whatever your analogies aren't.
Alright, I do really shit analogies. I'm really bad at them. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it's like, he's a really bad president. Yeah. Really
sorry to be the first two people on a podcast who have never said that. Okay, we actually think Trump's a bit bad.
He's really bad, yeah. And it's like, you don't have to roll like you've come here today and I've made you fried plantain and you've enjoyed it. If he was to come round, I'd be like, you know, I might give him one of the child nappies or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are things you can do. If he has to come, fine. But you don't have to roll out the red carpet. Like, he's gone to Buckingham Palace. Take him to a harvester.
I know. Oh my God. I feel like he'd love that.
Give him some food. Oh, he would. That's probably that's nice and down to earth. But that's true. Because when people go to visit him, he gives them fucking Wendy's.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And Wendy's is our equivalent of. Oh, do we have Wendy's?
No. What is Wendy's? I guess McDonald's?
There's that one Wimpy's.
Wimpy.
Yeah.
Oh, iconic. I think there's a Wimpy in Newark. There's still a Wimpy in Newark, I think.
There's a Wimpy I think it's in Twickenham or Richmond. I've been past it.
Oh, God. The amount of birthday parties I had in a Wimpy.
I know.
So good.
Who eats burgers with a knife and fork?
I know. Burger, chips and beans.
Yeah.
An absolutely iconic meal.
What are you doing today?
What am I doing today? So I had a busy weekend.
Yeah.
Weekend was full on.
Weekend?
So I was doing my boring day jobby stuff.
What's your day job? Can we talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, it's so dull. But so Thursday and Friday, I teach a little bit. Like, I work with queer youth.
Yeah.
So I teach at, like, a youth centre that has all these different groups. So there's like
This isn't boring, by the way.
Is it not? I guess it's not. This is one of the more interesting ones. The other one is just I work in the shop. Like a youth centre that has several different groups within it. So there's like an Afrobeats group and a music group and a music production group, and then there's just like also a gay group.
Okay, so the whole thing isn't a queer project, it's just like a queer corner.
It's super cool. It's I'll shout them out. It's Platform Islington, and it's all council funded. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just a drop-in centre,
and
anyone can come from it's generally the parameters are 13 to 19, totally free. It's in Finsbury Park, and you go and you can drop into any session that you want. The funny thing about the one that I teach, called Insert Name Here, that's the name of the group, is everyone else is like grouped by skill, and they're really good. Yeah. Like the Afrobeats groups, a lot of them are like professional dancers. Right. So it's like, if you're a sick dancer, go here. If you're an amazing singer, go here. And if you're just sort of like vaguely queer, just come here and we can just all sort of be gay together.
What do you teach?
So I got hired as like a general creative, so I do a bit of everything. So I do writing workshops and I do like drama. So it all has like a creative slant on the whole thing, so
Right.
there's a lot of ukuleles,
Oh,
a lot
is
of
there?
ukulele singing, because they're all these quirky
Hey
little
guys,
crickets.
are you getting bullied? You know what you need? A ukulele.
I know. Why don't you strap this tiny guitar to your back? Make it more of a
People
target.
love when you walk into a stage ukulele. People will fall in love with you. That sounds brilliant. So I imagine that you start off thinking, right, guys, by the end of this term, I'm gonna have a play.
Yeah.
And then you write the play.
And then I always have so many grand ideas for them. I always think like, we're going to do all of this, and then it's like, oh, do we just want to do another ukulele cover of Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley? Yeah, for sure. Let's just do that over and over again on a loop until all of us like taste blood in our mouths. Like it's very like, you have to let it be what they want it to be. Do you know what I mean? And it's cool because it's a space where, you know, some of them, it's the only time of the week that they get the pronouns that they want and things like that, because their parents won't use them. And so it's a really cool space in that regard. So I do that. It used to be like a weekly thing, but then it changed to like half-term projects. I was doing that Thursday and Friday, which was really fun.
It's a shame it's only half term. They must really look forward to it.
It's you know what, it's really cool, and you get them coming back again and again, and even when the job can be really frustrating just because working with young people is, but like it can feel, it can sometimes feel a little bit thankless.
Working with young people is very frustrating.
Yeah. For the listeners, the baby is chewing on Athena's finger, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
And she's got teeth right now, so it's like, this isn't like totally pain-free.
Yeah, just for the visual, there's like blood pouring down Athena's arm. She's like going woozy. So it's a really cool job. I was doing that Thursday and Friday, and then my other day job is that I work at a toy shop.
So, toy shop. Oh, someone's very interested in that news. You work in a toy shop. What's you always put little Instagram stories of this shop.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with you and the customers, man?
So I'm just really combative with them all.
Yeah, the people who pay your wages. What's the problem with them?
No, so I started working there like a year and a half ago. I got the job. I mean, full disclosure, I just got it because I had no money at the time. I just needed work.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. I really like. I've had a lot of day jobs. It's so fun.
It's like Willy Wonka.
It's really lovely, and I get to play with the toys, and it's like it's like a 5-minute walk from my flat, and I work there every Sunday. Well, I worked there. I did all weekend this weekend, so that's always quite full on. But it's it's a really cute job, and it's also really good for. I find it good just for like observing people.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You do forget like when you can, not to wank myself off too much, but when you're writing and you're really deep in writing and you can just like sit at your kitchen table for days and days, and the only people I speak to are like my agent and my boyfriend and my friends. Like, you don't like see people, you don't like interact with the public a lot.
Yeah, you need to. And I got given some advice when I started comedy, like, don't quit your job. Because if you quit your job, you kind of remove yourself from life and what you're going to write about.
It's so
and
true.
It's a really, really good piece of advice, not only for that, but also for the money.
Truly.
Also for paying bills.
Yeah.
But it's true, because if you're just a stand-up, and simply if you're just a writer, that's all you have.
I write a lot about my hometown, and I can get I have a very complicated relationship with it, which is why I write about it.
Yeah.
But I don't go home very often. Like, I go home to see my parents.
Yeah.
But then I've sort of, as I get older and more mature, I guess, I just have this realization that like, oh no, it's good to go home because it also just benefits my work. Do you know what I mean? Because I go home, I'm writing about a town.
You're using them for material.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's happening in the library today or whatever?
I'm like typing the entire time she's speaking.
Who's got a divorce recently?
But yeah, so it's totally true. Like, you have to interact with the world around you. I find it nuts. Like, I do know actors and comedians and writers who've never had a normal job, but like have never, and that's just, I mean, that's
I think that's
bananas to me.
outrageous.
I know.
I mean, if you can make it work, cool. But I've had so many jobs over the years, and I started comedy in my early 30s, so I was kind of well into that. Getting up, going to work, going home.
But I just can't imagine like just people who are like, I guess I never really had a normal job. I just find that nuts. Like, my first job, I was 16, and I worked in the chip shop that my mum managed.
What was that like? Growing up in a chip shop that your mum managed?
And it's so, you say growing up, I really do feel like I grew up in that chip shop. She is a known local figure, because it was the Appleton Gate Fish Bar, best fish and chips in Newark.
Is it still open?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's under new management now.
Okay,
But
what was the fish bar called again?
Appleton Gate Fish Bar.
Appleton Gate Fish Bar.
Check it out.
Appleton Gate Fish Bar. We're going to check it out. And so your mum was manageress.
She was the manageress. She always insisted on manageress.
She likes to gender that, did she? Okay.
Yeah, I think it made her feel a bit like a classy dame, like on a manageress. God knows why. But yeah, so she managed that chip shop for 21 years.
Were you there like every day?
I was there. I sort of ate from there a lot, which was very evident by my sort of appearance and personality. I loved it. I was addicted to fried potato. Still am.
Aren't we all? And now fried plantain.
Yeah, genuinely.
You can introduce it to the menu.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, so I worked there when I was 16. It was my first job. My mum was my first boss.
Yeah. Okay, nepotism.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. There were a lot more people more deserving of that role than me. Just scoop chips into paper. But yeah, so that was the thing. And now I'm writing about that time and that experience. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know what else I'd write about if I hadn't had those experiences. I got chips thrown at me.
Oh no!
Yeah, because I wasn't...
What a waste of chips.
I know, truly. I got a kebab thrown at me once.
Anyway, I want to know why someone threw a kebab at you. This is important.
Oh, yeah, I was just a little gobshite, like I always was.
Oh, you deserved it.
Yeah.
No one deserves that.
No,
right?
I suppose not. I had this thing, like I was a really visibly gay child. There was no hiding it, and I was just like chubby and awkward.
That's quite a stressful thing, especially in a small town.
And in the chip shop as well, it felt very much like it really feels like a real like cornerstone of the town. Do you know what I mean? And my mum is like proper Newark. She's really like, she knows everyone. She's really like, I don't even know what the word is. I guess like she's sort of like really streetwise. That she can really handle herself. Like she's like a proper
Peggy Mitchell.
Very that, but a much more attractive Peggy Mitchell. Thank you, Mum. But yeah, she
get out of my chip shop.
Yeah, exactly. It was very that vibe actually. Like she was like a sort of like landlady of that chip shop. But and I sort of sunk a little bit there because I would gob off and luckily I don't.
Do you think you were being preemptive? You were like, fine, people are bullying me, so I'm just gonna just use my voice so they don't even think about it.
That must be I think that's the thing for anyone that feels at all like maligned as a young person. Do you know what I mean? That is why
attack's the best form of defense.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
so
definitely my thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, do you consider yourself a defensive person now? Or?
No, but basically, my thing as a young person was I used to be quite rude, but really it was... No, I was really... Imagine that. I used to be quite rude, and I realised it was because I was so terrified of somebody being rude to me or pointing out... Because I never used to wear nice clothes. I didn't like my body shape. I was a bit bigger. I wasn't very fashionable. You know, my hair wasn't particularly like... I never went to the hairdresser, so I had this weird puffy afro thing. So I used to be like, right, I'm not as cool and as fashionable as people around me, and they probably know that because they've got eyes. So before they point it out, I'm just going to cuss them. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to slag them off. And it worked both ways in the sense that it made me be the funny person, but it also was like really sad because like sometimes you don't have to say negative things.
So true. I was exactly the same. I think particularly once I came out when I was 16, and once I came out I was just like, I'll get there quicker than you can get there. Do you know what I mean? So I went from, I was such a like polite little child, so like such a golden, and then I just became such a gobby little shit because I wanted to get ahead of the punchline, I guess.
So what's the specific kebab incident? Do you remember it?
Yeah, oh god, it's slightly blurry in my mind. But there was a customer who was creatively nicknamed the worst customer in the world. And I was also like, can we not come up with something short for that? Like, my mum would always be like, the worst customer in the world is in. I was like, yeah. I was like, Mum, by the time you've said that, he's already lobbed a kebab at me.
Yeah.
No, but he was just, he was a colourful character, and he didn't like the way I made his kebab once, and I gobbed back at him, which I absolutely should not have done. And yeah, I got...
When you say gob, do you mean speak?
Yes, not like I didn't spit it.
Not like, oh, you
Shut
don't
up.
like this kebab? Well, I'm going to make it even worse for you.
Yeah.
And spit in his face.
Absolutely dribble all over his food, yeah.
How do you like the way I serve this? Spit. Yeah.
That would have been quite sort of like sassy and cool. I wasn't nearly that slick. But yeah, I got a kebab at me. It wasn't like, it's maybe not as sort
That
of like...
sounds like assault, common assault.
Yeah, and it maybe isn't as like, maybe like cartoonish as the way... because what I'm imagining in my own head when I'm describing it is like the kebab hit me and it sort of like splattered all over me. What sort of happened is it just sort of like hit me and kind of like fell to the floor.
Oh, okay.
So it was really boring.
I'm seeing like bits of that. You know how it's that stringy, kind of like flaky.
Yeah.
Odds and ends of
like
kebabs
slow-mo
going
with that
everywhere.
opera in the background.
Yeah, I've seen lettuce and why do they always put fresh onions?
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. They don't put any fresh.
I was so bad at that. I used to dread when people would order kebabs. Because I was so bad at making them, like, because people are really specific as well. People would be like, can I have a doner kebab, and can I get the lettuce underneath the meat, but can I get the onions first, and can I get the sauce? People would be really...
people are fussy, man.
Oh,
yeah.
fussy.
Was that because it's kind of like fine cuisine? Like,
Yeah,
like...
probably. Yeah, genuinely. And people take their chips
like
very seriously.
Well, chips are a delicacy. I take chips. Like, there's nothing worse than getting chips and they're bad chips.
Oh, it's so good.
It's very hard to put your finger on a delicacy like chips. It's very hard to put your finger to describe exactly what makes a bad chip or a good chip. When you eat it, you know if it's bad or good.
Yeah, truly. I hated... there was always this thing when we'd get the new potatoes in, like the new potato chips, and they're like sweeter because they're made from new potatoes, and I always really hated them, but some people were like, nuts for the stuff. It was like a real... People would like line up outside for them. It was insane. It was like a new Harry Potter book or something. Yeah, chips is a serious trade. It's a serious trade, as my mum would remind me.
Is there anything you'd like to tell people about what you're getting up to, what people should watch, what people should listen to find you?
Well, check out the second season of The Young Offenders, coming to BBC Three towards the end of this year. I don't know a release date yet, but follow me on Twitter. I'm Nathan_Foad on Twitter, and then just Nathan Foad on Instagram. Foad, like Toad but with an F. I'm on Instagram. I put out a lot more on Instagram than I do anything else. And keep your eyes peeled.
Honestly, watching his Instagram makes me laugh so much. It's ridiculous.
You're very kind.
Thank you, Nathan, for coming to keep my company.
Thank you for having me.
So that was Keeping Athena Company with Nathan Foad. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't be put off drama school if that is your dream. Even if it breaks you instead of makes you, it will still make you into a fantastic writer, as it has done with Nathan. Thank you to the child who did make noises throughout but did not have a meltdown, so we'll call that 7 out of 10 behaviour. If you like the podcast, please like, comment, share, do whatever you normally do with podcasts that you do like, and we'll see you next time. Bye!